Okay, so hi, I'm Paul Baksik and I come from Strasbourg and I'm here to present to my last work using SOFA, which is a shared control strategy for needle insertion into deformable tissue using inverse finite element simulation. So my presentation will be divided in 4 steps. So first I will introduce you with percutaneous procedures. Then I will present you the method we propose. Then a set of experiments that we conducted to test the method, and finally the results of those experiments. So the field of application of our work is interventional radiology. It is a procedure that uses needle to reach internal structures under imaging devices. So more precisely, we focus our work on percutaneous procedures that are performed on soft organs. The success to this type of procedure is directly linked to the needle tip position accuracy. While non-trivial deformation may occur, this is mainly due to needle tissue interaction or external perturbations such as respiratory motion. Because the procedure is performed under imaging device, the difficulty is raised by the fact that the practitioner has no direct vision to what he's doing, which makes this type of procedure highly technical. So many types of imaging device can be used, and it usually depends on the local availability of the devices, the habits of the practitioner, or the difficulty of the procedure. The most common ones are conventional CTs and MRI, but they do not provide continuous images through time, so the practitioner needs to make the insertion blindly between images, which raises the probability of complication. For difficult case, real-time imaging is used. For instance, real-time MRI, which is quite uncommon for this type of surgery of procedure, or CT or serum fluoroscopy, which may be dangerous for the practitioner because of the radiation. So, in order to help the practitioner to overcome many of the presented difficulties, robotic assistance has been proposed in the literature. There can be divided in three main types depending on the level of automation. So first, the manual one, they can be teleoperated master-slave interface or passive guides. Using this, the user has full control on the needle insertion, but no active help is given to the user. There is also automatic methods. They can be divided in two main types, the one using symmetric needle tips or asymmetric needle tips. So obviously they are autonomous and they can provide active compensation for needle tissue coupling or respiratory motion. But the problem is that the user has no operative control over the procedure. So in between, there exists the shared control method on which the level of automation depends on the method itself. Only a few exist for needle insertion, and they can provide active help for needle tissue coupling and tissue deformation. And the user may have perioperative control thanks to those kind of method. But currently, no method exists allowing both for needle insertion inside of soft tissue. So the question we want to answer is that how to leave enough control to the practitioner to ensure safety and enable perioperative decision making while still being able to compensate automatically for tissue deformation. So a quick overview of the method. The method that we propose is a shared control strategy that relies on autonomous insertion algorithm and in which the user provides the desired tip position inside of the tissue to the autonomous insertion algorithm through a haptic device. The user is also guided with haptic and visual feedback. The imaging device that we propose to use is serum fluoroscopy in order to maximize the robot workspace and provide real-time imaging. So the presented method relies on Baksik et al. Automatic needle insertion algorithm that has been already published. So in this method, the insertion is expressed as a minimization problem, and the cost function is composed of objective functions chosen to follow a predefined path. So if a simulation is used inside of the control loop of the robot to linearize the cost function and find the robot reference, allowing to find the minimum of the cost function. So this FE simulation is supposed to follow as closely as possible the real insertion. So the models are registered using 3D images information and the needle tissue interaction are simulated. So what we want to do now is to take the practitioner back into the control loop. So for the proposed method, first of all, as you can see, now we don't use 3D images anymore, 3D information anymore for the registration, only 2D information. So the registration step has to be modified. So we propose to leave all of the operative decision making to the user by giving him full control over the needle tip target, which has to be followed by the autonomous algorithm. Along with that, we propose to provide visual fixture to the practitioner in order to guide him on the predefined path to ease the insertion. What is important to note here is that thanks to this, the practitioner has only have to focus on the tip placing, because he's controlling the target of the tip target. Sorry, he only has to focus on where he wants the tip to be, and the difficult part, which is steering the needle base in order to reach this point inside of the tissue, while still accounting for needle tissue coupling, is done by the autonomous method. And also, along with that, we propose to provide visual feedback, which is augmented fluoroscopy images. So first, I will explain to you more into detail the shared control part. As I said before, the user controls the needle tip target, which is the white dot that you can see through a haptic device. This white dot is mapped to the tissue, so it is in fact a point that is related to the tissue position. And so when he moves the end effector laterally, he will move the target away from the path, and when he moves in front, he will move the target on the path. So lateral virtual fixtures are provided to help the user to stay on the predefined path. There are spring damping forces close to the path, and the force follows a sigmoid that reaches the plateau far from the path to leave the user get out of the path. Another virtual fixture is provided, which is a damping for the insertion of the needle that depends on the actual distance between the tip and the target. This is done to avoid the user going too far away from the current position of the tip. So now I'm going to explain to you the registration and visual feedback part of the method. So first, using only 2D information, the lever is constrained registered using 2D constraint, projective constraint of the marker inside of the lever, which are extracted from the images, meaning that the lever is still free on the projective line of those marker, but the final position of the lever is found through its mechanics. Then the visual feedback that is provided is the inverse simulation view, in which we have the registered model and the CRM images that are augmented by the registration of the current path and the target that the user provides for him to know where he is inside of the lever. So a user study has been conducted where the user needed to perform a percutaneous procedure on a virtual patient to test the method. The percutaneous procedure consisted in reaching a target, a tumor 10 centimeter deep inside of the liver. So we've compared 3 levels of automation during this user study: a fully automated method, which is the one, the BACSIC 2023 one, a fully manual one, where the user needed to control the needle base in order to reach the target, and the proposed method, which is the chair control method. And so for the results, 6 untrained participants and 1 highly trained user did the trial, and each of them did 5 manual insertion and 5 chair control insertion. So here are presented the distance between the tip and the tumor center at the end of the insertion. I've decided to present to you 3 different types of error. First of all, the absolute one, which is the purple one that is presented on the left, which is the Euclidean distance between the needle tip and the center of the tumor. Then the in-plane error, which is the green one, as you can see, which is the one normal to the projective line going through the the tumor center. This is the error that can be seen inside of the C-arm image, and so that can be compensated by the user. And the last one is the out-of-plane error, which is in red, which is the one along this projective line that cannot be seen on the images. So first of all, for the untrained user, in terms of absolute error, as we can see, they did better using our method than using a manual one, and they did as good as the automated one for the absolute error. For the in-plane error, we can see that still they did better than the manual insertion, but they did also even better than the automated one, and this is thanks to the fact that because of the visual feedback, they were able to correct for needle tip misplacement. And in terms of out-of-plane error, as you can see, still they are able to do better than using only the manual insertion, but they did worse than the automated one, and this is because they were not able to see for those errors on the images, and moreover, because they had the freedom to go whenever they wanted with the target, they introduced more error on this side. So for the highly trained user, as we can see, they outperformed both the automated and the manual insertion for each three error type. So finally, here is a demonstration of the needle insertion done using the shared control method by the highly trained user. Thanks for your attention. If you have any question, don't hesitate.
Thank you very much, Paul. A very nice presentation to end the whole symposium. Is there any question for Paul? Maybe I was thinking that maybe Michael was going to have some question further to also to the presentation of active constraints that we saw before. Is there any question? I see Dara typing. I can take presenter, and we're gonna get back to the usual slides here. There we are. Okay. I'd like to make educational content from this. Is that possible? Rather than actual surgery. So I think, Dara, you mean to have that kind of training scenario where people would train. Yeah, I think here what Paul, I'll let you reply, but I think it's clearly more than just training. It's
so what I did really was to a needle insertion simulation in which I tried to test our method. So right now there is no haptic feedback for the manual insertion. So if it's for training, for instance, for percutaneous surgery, you will not have the haptic feedback that is currently that the user currently have during real needle insertion. So I don't know if it's good for training, but well, I don't know if I answered your question.
Okay, cool. And as I wrote in the chat, it's true for Dara, but it's true for basically anyone in the room. If you have further questions, again, as I said, for Paul, Martina, and Nazim, they will be right after in 30 seconds. We're going to be able to open the breakout rooms. Paul, Nazim, and Martina will stay with us for this session, and then it will be closing. Just before the closing, we would like to release the candidates and the selected candidates for the award, and it will conclude the day.
So to answer your question, Dara,
yeah.
I didn't think of any license. Maybe we can discuss this further in other meetings if you want to. If you are interested in what I did, it could be a